Hi guys, welcome back to Unlicensed Therapist. If you're new here, this program or channel is all about everything relationship, everything life. I'm so sorry. I have to apologize first. I'm sorry for the long break in transmission. I did have some setbacks, which everything is sorted now, and I hope to continue to bring you guys more episodes frequently. Although I need to tell you guys that from next week I'm gonna start Ramadan, which means I might not be able to come on here to give you guys more episodes, but that's just for like a month. I will try to record maybe 1 or 2 episodes today so that you guys can have something to listen to. I know you guys have missed me. Don't deny, I know you missed me. But anyways, yes, my name is Fa and this is Unlicensed Therapist, like I said. So jumping straight into today's episode, we are going to be talking about the rules of talking stages. Yeah, you heard me. Rules of talking stages. Now, the Nigerian in me is given some, I don't know, but let's get into it and talk about it. So I tried to do some research about talking stages basically. So I know I did talk to a friend of mine about dating and relationships. So she asked me and she was like, oh, are you seeing anybody right now? And I said, oh, I'm dating here and there. And she had this look on her face like, what are you talking about? Isn't dating the same as a relationship? And I feel like a lot of people actually mix that up because we tend to believe that it's like an umbrella term for being in a relationship, which I myself I was guilty of, but it took me a while to actually know the difference between both of them. So as I've come to learn, when you're dating someone, that's kind of like the talking stage where you're trying to get to know that person, trying to see if there's a compatibility between both of you, trying to see if you have the same mindset or the same beliefs before you actually get into a relationship. So during this period, you're going out on dates, you're hanging out together, not necessarily anything intimate, but like you're just trying to get to know that person. Okay, this Femi is asking me out, or Femi wants to be in a relationship with me, but I can't jump into a relationship. I need to actually date Femi to know if I am compatible with Femi in the long run, or if Femi is the kind of person I want around me. So in this situation, we call it the talking stage because, I mean, we're talking, right? Either via text, via phone calls, mostly both. But yeah, so that's what I've come to learn, that dating is different from being in a relationship. When you've dated for a period of time and you both accepted the fact that, okay, yeah, I do see myself with you, you're my person, then you can get into a relationship with that person. Then you can make things official where the person actually asks you, okay, do you want to be my girlfriend or my boyfriend? Then you can say you're in a relationship. And I feel like some people actually get it twisted when they meet someone. Maybe that's the cause of some breakups where the person starts saying things like, did I ever ask you out? Or you're dating yourself or situations like that. But like, I feel like we need to get into it so we understand that they're not the same. Because you hang out with someone or because someone told you, oh, I like you, and you start hanging out with that person, doesn't necessarily mean that, or it doesn't equate to the fact that you're in a relationship with them. I mean, yeah. So I did some research while I was going through some articles online, and I saw some very interesting things I feel like I should bring to your attention, right? So when I actually Googled, are there rules to talking stages, because I found out that it's not just about you talking to somebody and being like, oh yeah, it's a talking stage. I don't want to say expectations, but there's some certain things that we expect or we assume the other person knows, or is discretional for that other person to know. So I took it upon myself, and I feel like it's my calling to actually do this research and bring it back to you guys, let you know what we expect you as a guy to do in the talking stage, or what the guy expects the female to do. It's just a general thing. There's no, we're not gonna be, it's not a gender thing, because I mean, in a relationship or talking stages, both parties bringing their best foot forward. So I'm not gonna say it's something we expect a guy to do or a girl to do. So let's just get into it. So when I did the research about the rules of talking stages, I mean, it did say in the talking stage there are no obligations, meaning you're just talking with no rules or implications. But there are a lot of confusion though when you first start talking to someone, because you're trying to like tell yourself, okay, don't catch feelings, okay, even if you're gonna catch feelings, don't catch feelings too soon. Okay, I don't want this person to think that I like that person too much, or okay, let me not be forward until this person actually say like that. It's just confusing. Like you don't really know how to act sometimes. Sometimes even when you're acting, you're like, am I doing too much? Am I doing enough? It can be very complicated and confusing. But yeah, I got you. We're gonna go through this together. So it says and it explains pretty much the talking stages before you get to the open and honest communication stage, meaning that talking stage, you meet someone, hi, my name is this, my name is this, and then you start talking about your dislikes, your likes, your favorite color, blah blah blah, and then it transcends to have you eaten today, even though some people hate that question, have you eaten today, but I mean it's part of it, part of like the person communicating with you until they get to that comfortable ground where they start asking more intense questions. But I mean, like, let's not lie, like there will be times where the person will ask you have you eaten and you're like rolling your eyes and like, oh god, not again. But like they're just trying to like build a conversation with you to the point of compatibility where they feel like, okay, I can actually now ask more serious questions. But I mean, when you first start talking to someone, don't think about just yourself being uncomfortable or yourself being very edgy. The person also has to have some kind of anxiety towards them, like they have to actually think about, oh god, what do I say to this person, oh god, am I saying the right thing? So like give the person grace, right? Like when you start talking to someone, you don't just particularly come to the conclusion that that person is not asking you the right questions, or that person is not even asking the right questions, the person is stuck on one conversation. I know that a lot of women, we tend to leave the questions to the guys, or we tend to leave the effort to the guys to do. But sometimes if you have it in you, if you know that you're a good communication person, if you know that you're a good conversation person, sometimes you just need to nudge it a bit. You know, sometimes the guy might be shy, or he might be anxious, or he might be uncomfortable. It could be a number of things, but let's not just discard someone because you feel like they're not really holding a good conversation. Because before you can say that out loud, you need to ask yourself if you're also a good communication person, because it takes two to tango, right? So like if I'm chatting with someone, let me use myself as an example, like far as an example, right? If I'm talking to someone and over text, I know that sometimes the person can ask a question and I answer the question and that's it, and I'm waiting like seconds, minutes for the person to say something else and it doesn't come. I'm guilty of it. There are times when I'll be like, oh god, this person is boring, or oh, maybe he's not really interested. But then it took me one or two trials for me to know that sometimes they're actually interested, but they're also anxious. They don't know how to put their thoughts together, or they don't know what interests you, or they don't know how to put their words together. It could be a number of things. So it took me actually, you know, stepping out of my, it felt like an out of person experience, because I kind of like had to step out and be like, okay, if we're sitting in front of ourselves right now and having this conversation, it will be a bit awkward. Somebody has to break the ice, right? So if it's gonna be me and I feel like I actually like this person enough to have a conversation deep enough to know if I actually want to be with that person, then I won't mind to do that, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Like let's have that conversation. So I could just bring up, most times when you're in a talking stage, you want to do more of open-ended questions, right? Where one question leads to the other, and then there's a precedent. Like you lead to, from how are you, blah blah blah, how was your day, what was the highlight of your day, what did you do? Like we need to build it up. Conversations don't just happen by themselves. You need to actually work or build up to it, right? So like this research said, yeah, it is a very confusing stage, but it's something we have to do. You don't just meet someone new and assume that, yeah, that's it. Like, oh hi, you're cute, oh thank you, you're handsome, or whatever, and then expect that the next moment there's stages to it, right? You need to go through those stages if you want to have a healthy and long-term relationship with someone. So then I went further and asked Google and read some articles about what not to do during the talking stage. Okay, me as a person, including me, I'm also guilty of some of the things that I saw here. So when I'm going to be talking about them, I'm not talking about them based on the fact that I'm trying to judge anybody for how they act when they meet someone, but it's also a learning process for me too. Like I said, I'm an unlicensed therapist, meaning that I'm also learning as we go. So like, let's learn together, right? No discrimination, no talking down on anybody, just us learning together. That's what it says. So when I checked what not to do during the talking stage, I saw 4 things, 4 very important ones that were up top. So that means those are the 4 important crucial ones that you should actually hold on to, right? So the first one says don't spend the night. I understand this one because that's where the confusion actually starts from. Why are you spending the night in your talking stage house? Except maybe you've gotten to that point where you feel like, okay, you know what, I just want to have fun. But I don't really just think it's a good or healthy way to start a relationship, in terms of you're still at that confusing stage where you don't know if the person's likeness towards you is enough to actually build a relationship on, or you don't know if that person's actually being genuine. It could be anything. I could meet someone today and find them cute and I like them, but what exactly do I like about them? I've not gotten to that stage with that person to know if it's going to be something. So if I'm jumping right into spending the night with that person, what are you building on? What message are you sending to that other person? Now, don't get me wrong, some people have actually done that in a way that they have jumped from 0 to 100 and it works for them, right? But not necessarily all the time. Because it works for A doesn't mean it to work for B. It's not like a general rule. It's not something that we find healthy enough to actually say, yeah, I want to do this. That's like getting ahead of ourselves, which we don't want to do. So yeah, don't spend the night. We're still getting to know each other. We're still trying to get to know each other's favorite color, as funny as it sounds, but yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So like, don't spend the night. Not yet. That guy might be cute, tempting. The girl might be cute and hot and tempting, but bruh, if you're trying to get something long term, hold the urge, resist the urge to do anything that will jeopardize your long-term goals. So do not spend the night. The second one says don't talk more than 3 months. This doesn't mean that everything expires in 3 months. It does not mean that. When they say don't talk more than 3 months, doesn't mean that there's an expiration date to you and that person. It just means your talking stage should not pass 3 months, because why are we doing talking stage for more than 3 months? What are we talking about? You've gotten to know my favorite color. You've gotten to know what that is daily, because you obviously ask me that question every day. You've gotten to know my hangouts. You've probably known about my friends, you know, my likes and dislikes. You've gotten to know, like, pretty much, I mean, you can't get to know everybody. And even if you hang out with someone in 10 years, doesn't mean you get to know all of them. But like, it just makes sense that for 3 months, getting to know someone, hanging out with them, spending time with them basically, is enough to actually decide if that person is actually the person you want to be with. Is enough to know that, yeah, this person is worth it. Oh yeah, I actually want to try with this person and see where it goes. It's enough for you to make a decision whether you want them to stay or leave, basically. So if you're doing more than 3 months and the person is still telling you, oh, I still need more time to do what, Femi? More time to do what, Dapo? More time to do what, Charles? Like, let's get real. 3 months is enough to get to do the talking stage and then, you know, transcend into a relationship. Because I mean, it's tables return. Like, what if it's a girl? What if you're ready in 3 months and the girl tells you, okay, I'm still trying to get to know you? It just sounds a bit weird. And then me saying that doesn't mean that I'm putting the blame on the guy, because the girl can also say she's not ready. But I'm just saying from my own point of view, if the guy actually tells me in 3 months that he's not gotten to know enough, then I actually need to question what he has gotten to know. Let's sit down and actually talk about it. Like, in these 3 months you've been talking to me, what have you come to know? What are the things that you actually like, or things that you're not clear about? What's the hold up? What's, you know, holding you up to the point where you feel like you still want to get to? You need to have that conversation. Like, let's communicate, let's talk about it. Because if it's the wrong things, or the things that you could have easily asked me that are holding you back from the next stage, and even if you take the next 6 months, you're still going to be as confused, you're still going to be as, you know, complicated. It's just gonna keep going, or you're gonna keep going in circles. So like, we communicate it. If after 3 months you feel like you've not come to a decision, and I have a conversation with you where I'm trying to, you know, get to know where your head's at, like, what's the hold up, what's it exactly that is making you have a cold feet, or what's making you not want to try. If it's a conversation we can have and we both decide that, okay, yeah, let's talk it out and, you know, see what happens, and you're still insistent on going more than that, then I feel like it's more than you're saying, to be honest. Like, let's not do more than 3 months of talking stage. Because we're going to a relationship tomorrow doesn't mean that everything pauses. Even while you're in the relationship, you're still getting to know me. You're still getting to see if I'll make a good life partner to you. So it's not like a sentence or something. Like 3 months is enough to know someone to actually now say, okay, yeah, I want a relationship with that person, is what we're saying. So the third one is very crucial. My Shakara people, let us know what we're doing. Very crucial. Do not say you want to be casual if you do not want to be casual. Maybe I should say that again. Do not say, sorry, do not say you want to be casual if you know deep down in your, wait, my heart is here. If you know deep down in your heart, your beating heart, that you want more. Do not say you're looking for something casual because you feel like if you downplay it, the person will be like, okay, yeah, I'll stay. You don't want to come off too strong or whatever. In your talking stage is not the place for you to start deciding how strong you want to get. It's like tell yourself mentally, you're talking to a friend, talking to someone that you're hanging out with. Don't put that pressure on yourself of, I want to be perfect, or I don't want to talk to him too much so that he doesn't start thinking that I'm liking him too much. I don't want to worry about your own personal self. Worry about your own personal self. Worry about your own personal self. Make yourself likable. Make yourself the kind of person you would want to be with. Don't overcomplicate situations when you start thinking about situations too deeply. It's a talking stage for a reason. You just met this person. Be yourself. If you know that in the long term or in the long goal you want to be in a relationship with that person, don't tell that person, oh, I'm just looking for something casual, in the bid to win them over tomorrow, that okay, maybe you will catch feelings and now come and ask me again. It doesn't work that way. Let that person know. Obviously not on the first day, obviously not on the 7th day, but eventually in the talking stage, let that person know. When they ask you those questions, let them know that, okay, you know what, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, which I hope would eventually lead to marriage. But let's start from here and get to know each other and see how it goes. Lay it on the table as it is. Don't say because you don't want that person to think I'm doing too much, or maybe if I tell them I don't want something casual, then maybe he will now turn around tomorrow and say you want something casual. We're not kids, we're not in high school. Say it as it is. Don't expect that because I said A today and then tomorrow miraculously will turn to B. Don't kid yourself. Guys, girls, don't kid yourself. Say what you want. Eventually, if you hang out with that person and they're not the person for you or the people for you, things will work out itself. You can tell the person, okay, sorry, seems like we're not on the same wavelength, or we're not on the same page, so how about we just become friends if you just want to be friends. And if you feel like your emotions are getting involved and you don't want to be friends, then by all means communicate it. Don't complicate situations. Yeah, like, let's just keep it the way it is. If you cannot be friends with that person eventually, then keep it pushing, but do not say you want A when you know deep down in your heart that you want B. Moving on, it says, this one I don't really agree on, but I feel like these articles are written for a reason, right? I feel like these people are probably relationship experts, but like, I feel like, okay, let me just read it out before I drive myself crazy. So it says, don't follow them on social media just yet. I feel like Nigerian women left the chat. I say Nigerian women because I don't know about other races or whatever. Like, I can only speak on my own. I feel like we all left the chat because why? Tell me. Why can I not go on his social media to go check? I feel like that's the first thing I'll do. Like, if I'm talking to someone, that's one of the 10 or 20 first questions I'll ask. Like, oh, what's a social media handle? Because I want to go there and not necessarily snoop, but I mean, you can tell a sense of someone by going through their social media pages. Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but I feel like this one doesn't sit well with me, but I can't argue it, right? If I'm trying to explain it well, I'll probably say maybe that's just for a good or genuine reason, because going through that page would kind of build an expectation in my head of that person, I think. But then it's for other reasons. I don't know how I feel about this one, but let's just go with it. I've already read it out. Let's just see how that goes, right? So, moving on. So I actually checked for the unwritten rules of a talking stage. Yes, a friendly greeting starts things off on the right foot. Obviously, if you don't have a good conversation with someone, I don't know why you want to go back the next day. It's just, yeah, it's just normal. But then you also have to let them know the things that you like genuinely and the things that you don't, the things that you expect from them and the things that you don't. Now let us know that, or let us tell ourselves at the back of our mind that because I'm telling this person my expectation doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trying to drive them away, or I'm trying to set some high ground of I don't know, but like, it's just letting that person know how you like to be treated, or how you expect that person to treat you in the long run, right? So if you're if you're someone that you thrive more with phone conversations, you have to let that other person know. If you're someone that's phone conversations irk you and you like text messages, you also have to let that person know, so that they know the right means to communicate with you, correct? I, for one, I'm a mix of both. So there are times when I love conversations over the phone. I want to talk to that person a lot. But I also recognize the fact that I can't get my way all the time. We are busy people, we're working, right? Anything can come up. So there are times when I want to text or chat with that person. But then I'll let that person know I'm a mix of both. So if that person tells me, oh, I, on the other hand, am a text person, yeah, I'll probably feel like, oh, but like, I'll actually communicate to that person and be like, okay, I like both, so we can actually compromise. How about chat during the day as much as you can, and then before we go to bed at night, we can have a phone call. Eventually you get used to doing that, because we're a result of habits, right? It's something that we do all the time that we get used to. So I feel like that will also help. That's you telling the person the expectations. Okay, this is how I think we will thrive in this talking stage. These are the things that I think would help us moving forward in the talking stage. So that's me communicating one part of it. Okay, this is how I want to communicate to this person, and this is what I expect. So be that as it may, you also want to let that person believe what is important for you in a relationship, and you have to trust the person, so you expect honesty. You can't go into a talking stage with doubts of that person already. You don't even know that person enough to actually have like a doubt. You need to let them play out their own person, which will help you in the long run to know that, okay, yeah, this person has presented themselves in this way. It's left to me to now take that and hold it in my hand, and then now see how the action plays out beside their words. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's more like I'm being open to this person. I meet this person and I have zero expectations whatsoever. I have zero doubt. I just met this person. I can't form my own doubts out of nothing because I'm judging from the past or expecting it to go a certain way because of how I was treated in the past. You come into it with an open mind, expecting that that person would build trust. It goes both ways. You're building trust both parties. Not until the person does something that will now make you feel some type of way or plant a seed of doubt before you now start feeling, okay, yeah, maybe. But you don't just go into it with the mindset of, oh yeah, this one, they've come again, this one will come and disappoint me. That's you setting yourself up for failure, you know. So yeah, those are like the unwritten rules, where it's not textbook, but those are kind of like the things we expect in a talking stage. So I went for that. I asked, what should happen in a talking stage? So it says, talking stages today can involve talking or texting for days, even months, in bracket, maybe 3 months. The purpose of this stage is to have the opportunity to get to know someone before committing a relationship with them. We've said that earlier about how it's 3 months gap for you to get to know someone. So I think this is supposed to be like an expansion of what was said earlier. But yeah, then the ultimate question was asked in the article, which I feel like we should all pay attention. No, maybe not all of us, but the single ones amongst us should pay attention to. Is it okay to see other people during the talking stage? Yeah, the response wasn't shocking, but like, you know, it says there's no commitment or exclusivity during the talking stage. Do not expect that because Dapo came to you today and said, oh, I like you and let's get to know each other, then you expect or assume that you're the only person Dapo will be talking to. He doesn't have, there's no label yet. He hasn't asked you to be his girlfriend yet. Cynthia hasn't asked you to be her boyfriend yet. You're getting to know each other to see if you can actually date. So let our expectations be realistic. You can't be, there's no exclusivity. You cannot expect that, okay, Bayo is talking to me and he has to be talking to me alone. Let's be real. I feel like that's the only stage where a guy or a girl can actually broaden a perception or broaden a spectrum of dating, go on dates with different people. That's why it is good to keep your talking stage as it is. Do not go intimate when you're with your talking stage, because I feel that also kind of like affects the thinking, because you start to assume what's not, it clouds your judgment. So let's keep talking stages not intimate, so that you can have a sharp mind to decide if that person is actually going to be a true fit for us in that relationship, right? So if you're doing that without being intimate, you can as well date more than one person. You can date more than 2 people, so long as you know what you're doing. You're trying to find the perfect fit for you. This doesn't go to just the girls, it goes to the guys too. They're allowed, the guys and girls are allowed to actually date more than one person in the talking stage and see who is the better fit for them, so they can actually streamline it, right? So if let's say Femi is talking to Kemi, Tolu, Fatima, you know, maybe 3 or 4 girls, after eventually when they start talking, they know, okay, this person actually fits into what I expect my partner should have. They start to streamline it, and then eventually when they now ask officially, they are expected to let go of the other girls, because the other girls are assumed to also be in a talking stage and nobody's leading anybody forward. We all know what we're looking for, we all know what we're trying to achieve. So if it's not you, it's not you. Explain in a very subtle manner, in a way that doesn't demean that person, and move on from it. But in that talking stage part, there is no exclusivity. Do not expect that to happen, because you're setting yourself up for failure when you find out. Let's not get things twisted. Nobody is exclusive in the talking stage. We're getting to know each other is what it is. Oh yeah, so apparently there are some red flags in talking stages. It's not, red flags are not just for relationships, there are also red flags in a relationship. So recognizing the red flags, number 1 is inconsistent communication. As finicky as that sounds, or as shaky as it sounds, when you're trying to get to know someone in a talking stage, there's a certain level of expectation in terms of communication. If you like someone and trying to get to know that person, you know, to date that person or be in a relationship with that person, it's expected that you put in some work, you know, get to know that person, talk to that person. Now, we're not talking about every second of the day, every minute of the day, every hour of the day, but have like a pattern where you talk to that person. Maybe you chat to that person during the day, check up on that person, a call here or 2, but not like you're trying to get to know a talking stage and you only talk when you feel like it, maybe once in a week, or a chat here, how are you, I'm fine, and just go quiet. That's not building anything. That's a red flag. That means maybe you're confused as to what you want, or you're not decided if that's actually going to be what you want to pursue. But either ways, you on the receiving end should be able to recognize when someone is not giving you that vibe as to, yeah, I want to be here. You know, that juge, that thing that makes you feel like, okay, yeah, this person's actually putting in work to be here. So yes, that's number one red flag. Then the other one is disrespect towards boundaries. When the person is ignoring or trivializing your defined limits and comfort zones. I can't tell someone I don't like this thing, or this is how I like something being done, or this is how I like to be treated, and the person does otherwise. It's giving disrespect. It's giving I'm not putting in any effort to make you feel comfortable or feel loved. It's not giving the right proportion of care or respect towards that person. You can't trivialize somebody's emotions or feelings. You can't trivialize somebody's wants and needs in that talking stage of getting to know me, to be in a relationship. It's about understanding that person you're with and treating them with the cordial respect. The person is also respecting you. It's not a one-sided thing. You respect me, I respect your situation. So if I'm giving out that respect, I'm expecting it back. If I give you clear boundaries and you're passing them all the time, then there's a problem. If you do it the first time and I communicated with you, okay, this is what you did, blah 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 blah, and you do it again, that's like you don't care about me, or you're just being nonchalant towards the situation or the effort I'm putting in. That's a red flag. And also gaslighting. Hey, well, gaslighting is a bad attribute to have. It is definitely a red flag. When someone gaslights you, some people are so good at this gaslighting business that if they gaslight you, you will start to think or rethink your own person. Like, what? Like, wow, okay. Like, start doubting yourself. That's not good. That's not a good state to have. We should be pessimistic. We should be optimistic in the situation. No gaslighting. Making you doubt your perception of feelings, often minimizing your concerns. If I'm bringing a situation to you, especially when you make me feel some type of way, and you're trying to gaslight me into thinking I have it wrong, or I'm the one being overly dramatic, or making me feel like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. That's not good. We're adults. Let's sit down and actually talk about my feelings, which you hurt. Apologizing doesn't take away from you. It literally takes like just seconds. Tell that person, okay, I understand how you feel, or I understand your concerns, and I apologize if I made you feel that way. Even if you have your own points, or you have your own you have your own reason for doing whatever you did, that shouldn't be an arguing point. We're not arguing, we're trying to have a conversation as to how you made me feel. So even if you have some other 2 cents you want to add to it, maybe not right at that moment where I'm trying to explain my feelings to you. Do you get me? So I bring it to you, we talk about it. It's communication as adults, right? So yeah, gaslighting, no. So it goes ahead to tell us how to set boundaries in talking stages. You need to set boundaries. That boundaries are there for a reason. So it's like a yardstick actually for how a relationship will be, for how the talking stage would transcend into a more serious situation, right? So when you have boundaries, it's kind of like an ethical thing, because it actually makes you to the other person know that, okay, yeah, I'm a serious person, or this is how I like to do my own thing. These are the things I respond to. These are the kind of things that I expect of you, or these are the things that make me feel comfortable. It could be a bunch of different things, but yeah, you have to set boundaries. So the first one that you have to set beforehand is letting the person know where you feel comfortable meeting. Your house is not a date spot to meet in a talking stage. Now let's be for real. There is no way you invite someone to your personal space, the confines of the wall of your personal space, where you feel comfortable. How about putting in mind how I feel comfortable? We're not doing, this is not like a fling or those kind of situations. We're trying to get to build something. You actually go out to do things that you both enjoy. So if I'm telling someone I like to bowl, and the person says, oh, yeah, it's not a bad thing. If that was a conversation, and then we're getting to that point of actualizing to go out to hang out, bowling is not a bad idea. We've literally spoken about it before, about how you like bowling, how you like this, you like that. So that was not a bad idea. You can actually go bowling. But a first date or first serious interaction in the confines of your home is a no-no. Let's not do that. Let's leave that behind. Let's actually go out to do activities that we both enjoy. See me in my element, you know, I'll see your element. Let's see how you react to social situations that way. And also, how frequently you spend time with the person. You have to set, some people are they get very comfortable very easily. So someone might tell you, oh, I want to see you, you go bowling today, you probably go see a movie tomorrow, you want to go. Some people don't mind seeing you every day. But if it's not your thing, or you feel like it's uncomfortable, I mean, maybe not practical to be every day, but like quite often in a week, and it's not something you can do. You clearly have to communicate with the person. Okay, I only have this and this amount of time to spend with you. Is that okay by you? Or, you know, tweak it here and there, but like clearly state it out. This is what you can do. This is what you expect to do, and let the person actually tell you where they stand on it. You know. Then also, any conversation that is off limits to you in that talking stage, you need to set that boundary so they know not to, you know, go into it and make you feel uncomfortable. This can be a guy or girl thing. It's not a gender-based thing, like I said earlier. So there's some conversations that we always save for when we're in a relationship with someone, or when we get away from the talking stage. You can't, because I mean, talking stages happen with lots of people, like a bunch of people. You can't share part of yourself with a bunch of people. You need to actually wait for it to get to a point, maybe after like 3 months or after 2 months. You know, you can just tell that person, okay, this and this and this. But at the stage where you're having that talking stage and you don't want to talk about certain questions they ask you, you let them know, okay, I'm not ready to talk about this right now. How about we talk about this when we're more comfortable with each other? Or how about you ask me this question in like a month or something, you know, when I feel like we are getting closer. Something. Don't just shut them down, but let them also know why. You don't have to go into deep details, but let them also know why you're not having that conversation at that moment. I'm sure they will understand it. And also, how much you like to communicate with them when you're not physically together. So like I said earlier, right, if I'm the person that likes to talk to the person I'm talking to because I enjoy it, doesn't necessarily mean that other person will have the time to talk as much as I enjoy it also. So if I'm the kind of person that wants to talk to my talking stage because I enjoy the conversation, I won't talk to them like 10 times a day. It's not realistic, because we're adults, we have adult things to do, right? But you need to communicate it. Okay, I like to talk a lot on the phone, I like to chat a lot on the phone. And then the person can be like, oh, you know what, my work is always busy, how about we talk twice a day? It's about compromise. It's about coming to an understanding. You know, you need to let that person know the things that make you feel comfortable. You want this talking stage to go smoothly, and you want us to, you know, translate into something. How about we talk more? How about we talk this and this? How about we talk at night before we go to bed? How about we just chat during the day and then we can talk on the phone? You know, communicate it. That's why that stage is the easy stage, where we have to put all the cards on the table and see which one fits, right? You put all your cards on the table and actually see how it goes from there. No expectations. No, oh, I assumed you know these things. Oh, it's just discretion. Why don't you know them? Let's be respectful of each other and put people also into consideration when we're doing our talking stages, and give them grace also. Let's not do the whole, oh, you should have known this, oh God, why is this? We are humans, we are fallible, right? Like let's give ourselves grace. Let's be patient with ourselves when we're trying to get to know someone. Some people take time to actually warm up to someone. It doesn't mean that they won't be great partners. They're just not meet somebody immediately and get to like that person immediately. So let's give ourselves that grace when we're getting to know each other. Now, the final question I saw in the article was, do you sleep together in the talking stage? Okay, I'll read it out exactly how I saw it on the article, because I feel like that will shed more light. So it said the talking stage doesn't consist solely of texting. It can involve occasionally going out for dinner or drinks, spending time together, sometimes being intimate in terms of kissing, getting to know each other's roommates or housemates. All these are considered key components of dating. So I feel like I've said some of them earlier. When you're dating someone, being intimate might be kissing. That can be allowed. I mean, but maybe not the first week of getting to know somebody. But there's no time frame for it, right? So like in the talking stage period, if a kiss happens, it happens. Enjoy it, you know. Maybe making out, maybe in the talking stage, but maybe not just sex, because that clouds our judgment. If we're being for real, let's keep things. There's something you have to keep your partner wanting. There's something to look forward to. Don't just play out your cards, because that's like this saying. I heard this saying, why buy the cow if you can milk it for free? You want to order elements of surprise. Now that doesn't mean that you're going into with the whole mindset of I'm not gonna let up or something. It's not about that. But that talking stage, let's not cloud our judgment, because I mean, don't forget we said earlier about you can do talking stage with more than one person. You can't be giving it out to more than one person in talking stage. That's not being real. But if it's about, I mean, maybe when you start talking to them and you start to streamline, and maybe you now have this one person that you're talking to and you let go of other people and you guys want to kiss, so be it. You know, that also builds up to something. That also lets you know if you have a sexual chemistry or not, right? So I mean, talking stage is very interesting. If you meet someone that you align well with, it's not all talking stages that lead to relationships. We all know that. It's not all talking stages that would lead to the happy ending you're looking for. Some people might be interested in the talking stage. You guys can vibe well, and then you start to actively date them, like being in a relationship, and you're like, oh no, this is not gonna work. Don't beat yourself up to it. Not all relationships will lead to marriage, if you're being honest. So not all talking stages will lead to a relationship also. So if we give ourselves that grace where we don't beat ourselves to it or expect so much seriousness from ourselves, we will be able to actually weed out the shaft, you know, like let's be more intentional in the talking stage as to, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, and if this person is not giving me what I want, kindly communicate to that person so the person is not expecting something else and you already made up your mind. That's not being nice. If you're talking to someone and you feel like, okay, down the line, okay, this is not giving me what I want, and if you're being real, let those things that you assume you want be realistic. If they're not, then communicate with that person and let that person know that, okay, yeah, it's not gonna work. Who knows, you can be friends with that person. You never know where you meet friends, right? You can be friends with that person and or eventually let the person go if it's too much to handle. But all in all, let our talking stages be fun. Let our talking stages be exciting, you know. And I pray that the odds are in our favor, because the single streets are not smiling right now. We single people are in severe pain because if on social media they don't let us breathe. So, you know, jokes aside, let's do our talking stages right so we can have like a healthy and fruitful relationship eventually. That being said, thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk today. I've also learned a thing or two in this conversation we've had. Like I said earlier, you can follow my page on Instagram on licensed_therapist_. There's also gonna be the video on YouTube. You can follow and subscribe on YouTube. It's called Fabulous, FAA then Bulos on YouTube. The link is also on the Instagram. You just click on the link tree and it takes you to the different channels we have: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also listen to them there. Thank you guys so much for coming today to my TED Talk. Hope to see you guys soon, and I will try to record another episode that will drop maybe next week or in 2 weeks, because I know I will probably not have enough time to record during Ramadan. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This is Far here. Have a great day. Bye guys.